welcome back to Caffeinated Librarians, Mayapack Public Library's pop culture podcast. Today, we're continuing our book series. This week was my pick. I went with a curveball, went with a 60s sci-fi novel, Three Stigmata of Palmer Eldritch by Philip K. Dick, who if you haven't read his work, you've seen his work adapted. Bro behind Blade Runner, Minority Report, Total Recall. Of course, those were not what the stories were called. They were all called, like, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? And we can remember it for you wholesale. Great titles. I don't know. We should introduce ourselves. We haven't done that in a while.
Yes.
We forget that a lot.
Yeah, we do.
I'm Joe.
I'm Louis.
Katie.
Annalisa.
I'm Simona.
All right. How are we kicking it off? Should I do, like, a quick synopsis?
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's set in the futuristic year of 2016.
2016.
I know.
Good year.
And the Earth has become too hot to comfortably inhabit. There have been a lot of things put in place to keep people safe. But the UN, who seems to be a global government at this point, it has started a draft to send people to colonies on other planets. And these colonies suck really hard. Mars is a desolate wasteland, and they expect you to try and farm.
I picture it like the beginning of Interstellar. Like, just dusty.
Yes.
And crops are dying, and everything's burning, and stuff like that. That's how I picture
Mars.
the Mars colony scene.
And to relieve some of this awful strain, the colonists have turned to drugs, specifically one called Candy, where if you combine it with this nice little play set that's sold by PP Layouts, Perky Pat, you get to go into the world of Perky Pat, a Barbie-like doll, and her boyfriend, Walt. And you get to live a perfect, idealized Earth life for about 15 minutes. And then you're back to terrible reality. This has become sort of a religious experience for them, because it's the only good thing they have going for them up there. And then it seems like a billionaire adventurer type has come back from another galaxy with a new drug called Choosy, that has UN approval and promises something like reincarnation. And we follow the business strivings of Leo Bolero, a terrible man, and his lackey Barney Mayerson, who's the real protagonist of the book, who's a sad sack.
Wow. Yeah.
You listened to it also. Leo Bolero. Tell me the guy did not sound like Colin Farrell from Penguin.
He did.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I need
He
to
did
check
sound
out the
like the
audiobook.
Yeah.
It worked really well, though, especially in that last chapter where he's like, look at this shell, it's all over me. And you're like, what do you mean?
The last chapter of him just ranting and raving to himself on how he's like the ultimate life form really got me.
Yeah.
Do we want to break into this?
Yeah, I don't even know how to approach this one.
So I think for me it was like a roller coaster of attention span, because at the beginning immediately I was into it. I was like, who is this weird guy talking to his briefcase who doesn't know the girl in his bed? Like, I want to know.
Who's hungover and everything. It's great.
Yeah. It was really great. It was really funny. I liked that it was a little tongue-in-cheek with it. I loved Mr. Smile, though, the briefcase psychiatrist that's designed to make you worse.
Yeah, it's designed to give you more mental illness so you can avoid the draft.
Oh my god.
Which makes sense in a way if you're taking advice from.
A briefcase?
I picture it like a head that just pops out of a briefcase.
Yeah.
Like, if that doesn't make you go over the deep end, I don't know what would. Like, just trying to picture that in the book was like, this is really interesting.
I just pictured it as like a really sassy pager that's like on top of the briefcase and it's talking to you. That's what I picture.
Yeah. I kind of pictured a briefcase that you open and there's like a screen in there. And then there's like a guy's head like there.
Yeah, that was more in line for me, but like not a real guy, so like he's kind of glitching. Like, he's got like the Max Headroom thing going on.
And like a dummy from like a ventriloquist.
Yeah.
Like kind of like that. Like that's what I was like.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I saw the opening of the briefcase and then a hologram of a head talking back to you.
Almost like the Wizard of Oz. When you meet the great...
Yeah.
I mean,
Like,
yeah.
Sure.
I mean, sure, yeah. Although that scene always terrified me as a kid.
Oh, it still
but-
terrifies me. The monkeys terrify me.
As they should.
So I'm all along the same lines. I loved the beginning. I really loved the first time you meet Sam Reagan and the people in the colony.
Love the Mars stuff.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah. They're just...
And just Sam Reagan's interactions with
No.
Fran.
Fran.
Yeah, I was gonna say Anne, but Anne's the other girl.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Pan, because she's Pat, but she's Fran.
I really loved all of that. I'm sure we're gonna get into it a little bit, but I think there are some people that had a more difficult time understanding it. I think I understood pretty much everything. I think the thing that kind of hurt my head a little bit in a way that I really liked was when Barney is traveling through time.
Yeah, when he's on the choosy,
Yeah.
It gets like insane, and I'm like, all right. I kept like hitting that 15-second rewind thing, being like,
Yeah.
oh, what did
Well,
I miss?
I
What did
listened to
miss?
that last chapter at least 2-3 times.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of when Barney meets his future self.
Yeah.
And his
Oh,
future
yeah.
self's like, buddy, you got to get out of here. Okay.
Yeah.
This isn't good for anyone.
Yeah.
I like when Barney uses the choosy to try to get his ex-wife back.
Yeah.
He goes back and he's just like, he's treating her terribly.
I
and,
know!
And Palmer's just like,
You're doing the same.
Christ,
I loved that.
Christ, man, this is perverse.
Yeah, you're doing the same thing again. In the same line, in the same vein. I loved when he calls Eldritch Palmer's company and is like, I want a job with you guys. Mm-hmm. And then he's like, wait, no, I'm gonna just go to the colony and do the draft. And then somebody from Palmer's office calls him back and is like, we're very interested in having you. And he's like, well, I'm not interested in working for you. And they're like, you called us.
Yeah, the chapter where he was just intent on ruining his life, I really like.
I know.
Because he disappointed his boss. He's like, well, I guess. And like, he has the precog thing where he's like, oh, like, I guess one version is like, just walk outside and kill myself on the sidewalk.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. Well, he goes on that rant later about like his self-destructive tendencies, and it's like, well, bud, you had choices. You chose all of the bad ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, don't complain about Mars. You chose to be here.
Yeah.
You literally volunteered.
Yeah.
I don't know. It didn't seem that bad to me. I don't know.
Mars sounds awful.
It didn't seem that.
Palmer Eldritch wanted it.
Yeah.
He did want Mars,
Well,
but I think
Palmer
it's...
Eldritch.
Yeah.
Well, exactly. We find out.
Air quotes.
Spoilers, it's book
Not
came out
really
in
Palmer
1964. It's not really Palmer Eldritch.
So
Yeah.
that was a lichen that when he crashed on Pluto took his place.
I'm not. It's some being.
It's
Right?
some
Yeah.
being has taken over his consciousness.
Barney conjectures that it might be God, and
Yeah.
is like, I don't think it is God. It might be something like him or something, some aspect. And he just drops the weird thing at the end where he's like, this is the only way I can propagate.
Yeah.
Yeah. But also, that's like a fascinating concept to me that he's using this drug to reproduce through planting parts of himself in others.
Yeah.
Nuts.
Yeah.
Really
So,
cool,
kind of
but
like
also crazy.
communion,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's because
They bring it up constantly.
exactly. Yeah. Especially like
What-
when we meet Anne.
Which blew my mind. So I read like this like analysis of it, and one of the things was like, as I'm sure you saw coming, like when he's eating the choosy and it's his own body, and I'm like, No. Like, I did not expect that, but this review made it seem like it was like the most obvious thing in the world.
I don't think anything in this book is obvious.
Yeah.
No.
This review also made it seem like, when Bolero's, I guess, on the ship, and he starts to see all the other passengers, and they start to have all the stigmata of Eldritch Palmer, and this analyst was like, I'm sure you saw this coming, but obviously Leo Bolero is still tripping from the Choosy. I was like, I didn't see that coming. Am I supposed to have seen that coming?
I'm not even certain he's on it. I don't know what's
Exactly.
happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's no longer. Because that's the big question: is he still under it and none of this was real, or is it lasting effects of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question. So, if he is still tripping like this person's saying, then is everything that's happening with Barney actually happening?
Well, one person, one review that I read stated that the entire book is a trip, that none of it happened.
Well, it's
I
definitely
feel
a trip.
like that's a stretch. That none of it happened.
So,
Bad trip.
But I like the concept of it being just like after effects, because when you take certain psychedelics, it permanently alters your brain chemistry.
Fair.
So
True. Yeah.
Like
I like
LSD.
Yes, you should not do that.
No.
And but I like that concept, and he's such a paranoid freak that he would constantly trip and see Palmer Eldritch and other people afterward because he's so paranoid.
So I did the memo at the beginning of the book, like the little epigraph, is from Leo after he gets back from Mars.
Okay.
So I guess he does get back, and he does dictate a memo at least. After all, you have to consider we're only made out of dust. That's admittedly not much to go on, and we shouldn't forget that. But even considering, it's sort of a bad beginning. We're not doing too bad. So I personally have faith that even in this lousy situation we're faced with, we can make it. You get me? Which, I don't know what his angle is here, but
I know Leo Bolero is such an interesting character.
Yeah,
horrible person.
The first chapter we get with him, he's he's just judging everybody so harshly, denigrating everybody. He's like racist, sexist, homophobic, everything in the book. Just a nasty dude. And then somebody else sees him, Richard Hatt,
yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, this guy looks so scary. He's like, his head looks like it's about to burst open. And because Leo has been receiving evolutionary therapy by a weird doctor in Germany. And it's made his head very large and given him a rind-like skin.
Yeah.
And a bulbous forehead.
Yeah.
So they're very.
That's an image.
I like that. The evolutionary stuff seems to just be a total scam.
Yeah.
Because it's doing something to his brain, but it's clearly not good.
Yeah. Well, I like that in some of the realities, we don't know if it's true or not, where Barney is on the Choosy, where you think Emily might be regressing afterward and having it cause just major brain damage, and then Palmer Eldritch is no, she regressed. It did the opposite of what it's supposed to do. And I felt so bad because she's an artist.
Yeah.
And it took that away from her.
The description of her sketching pots that she already made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just so sad. And then her having all of these ideas, but not being able to articulate it or create it. It made me really sad because she's had a really bad hand in life to begin with. Also, what happened to the baby? Can we, I want to know. Did she lose the baby? Did she give it away?
It doesn't seem to be there when she's with Richard, so.
What happened?
Is this part of the trip?
Oh, no. So Barney, when Emily got pregnant, that's why he kicked her out.
Yeah, because they'd have to move into a higher Conapt building.
Yeah.
So what happened to the baby?
That's a good question. I don't think we ever find out.
No.
No, we don't. That's why I'm so does this woman get anything out of life? Anything?
Doesn't sound like it.
She got Richard Hatt.
No, he gets sent to Mars
Well,
in one of the futures.
Yeah, Leo
One.
hasn't sent to Mars.
My God.
I like it's when Barney's on the choosy, but when he goes to her when she's with Richard and he's like, come on, like marry me, you can again, we can do it. And she, like, it says like she laughed. It wasn't mean. It was just there was no reality in what he was saying to her. It was just like, this is just totally foreign what you're doing, dude. Like, this is no basis in anything.
Yeah. I almost kind of saw that as like they're not really like hearing what he's saying and stuff like that. It's almost like like they're not really there almost. It's like kind of like, oh, haha, funny, here's your tea and stuff like that and everything. Because even like Richard even just is like, we're married, but they say he says it in like such a monotone way, like he's not like angry or anything like that. He's not like trying to push Barney out or anything.
There's no like emotional inflection.
No, but that's. I don't think he loves her though. Like, he does not care.
Oh, Barney?
No.
Oh, Richard.
Well, no, I don't think Barney loves her, but I don't think Richard loves her either. Like, there's that scene where he signs the contract for her artwork and is like, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Maybe I should have asked her first. It's like, I mean, yeah. But he didn't think to ask about Emily, because why would he?
Yeah.
I'm like, justice for Emily. It's like what I want out of this.
Okay.
It's going to be the new hashtag.
The new hashtag, justice for Emily. I probably made the mistake of just reading this book. I probably should have listened to this book, because then maybe I would have understood it more. And because I didn't understand it, I thought it was okay. It was, and I even read like analysis on it, and afterwards my brain felt fried.
Well, it's because this book is like out here, like it's an out here kind of sci-fi.
It's supposed to be one of his easier works to comprehend, according to one analysis of the story that I read.
It's one of the more popular ones.
Yeah.
He didn't get really
weird
far out. Like, he got, if that was more in the 80s after he had like severe religious hallucinations for a few months, and the Valis trilogy seems like a lot.
So I actually have a friend that has read it, and he said that you can tell after the mental breakdown happens because there's a switch in it. And I was like, that sounds like a really interesting thing to read and observe, but I will never read it.
I want to read Valis, but I feel like I need to understand I need to get through his other work first, But,
Yeah, Griff said that one's, like, really out there.
Yeah.
But I definitely saw, like, the religious motifs in this book. I saw, the climate, like what industry is doing to the climate in the 60s and how he sees that perpetuating in the year 2016. I saw all of, like, those motifs, and I understood those. It's just everything else.
It's, like I said, it's an out here book.
It is an out here book, absolutely. And
like, I couldn't even do laundry when I was listening to this. I needed to just be listening to this.
I just read it. For me, I feel like listening, I'd get distracted.
Right.
That's how I work. But so I like reading because I can always just go back and be like, okay, what was that?
Yeah, that's true.
I do think listening helped because the narrator for it was just great.
I want to check this out. I just want to hear this narrator.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He did
So
different
great.
voices for everybody. He really was very good.
And that's why I say that I probably made the mistake of just reading it instead of just listening to it, because I couldn't get a handle on, like, the narration of the book, and that.
I mean, there's chapters mainly from Barney's perspective, mainly from Leo's, and and one from Richard.
And that's
There's
not really,
literally one
and I
from
mean, that's
Richard.
not really like a critique on the book itself. It's just me, and how my brain
How you processes
stuff. So
But I think I was, like, reading and listening to it at the same time at some instances, so it helped. But
I do really like the style of the writing. I like obviously he's dealing in heady concepts, but I feel like he approaches it with a sort of like almost like smarmy attitude in the
Yeah.
writing. Like the sentences
liked
themselves are clearly constructed and just like, yep, like and like sort of a wise ass nature to it, which
Well, that's the whole book, yeah.
yeah, which I find very entertaining. Like I find 60s sci-fi to be very free with that sort of thing because most of these people were making no money off of this.
Yeah,
He was like
yeah.
dead broke when he was writing this, and like he already wrote The Man in the High Castle, which like won awards, but
Yeah.
there was no money in sci-fi at this point.
Right.
Yeah, so like it sort of has like more of a devil may care attitude to it in terms of just like, all right, I'm putting in whatever I want in this book, and
Yeah.
we're
it
gonna have a fun
worked.
time with
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Well, it's exactly what it is. They are like really out there concepts, and it's a lot to try and process, but it's done in a very tongue-in-cheek and fun way.
Dude loves semicolons. I
Yeah, he
love
does.
semicolons too, so I was like, yes.
Yeah, I liked how heavy in dialogue it was.
It
At least
really
listening
is,
to it,
yeah.
it seemed like there was
There's a lot.
a lot of dialogue, which was nice. Because it did kind of read like a movie then, and I can kind of see it like a movie.
I do think I don't think any movies have gotten the vibe of his work down though.
No, because
No, Blade Runner's way different. than-
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't like Blade Runner. I find it, and which is like sacrilegious to some of my friends, but I just don't like it. It's a little,
Boring.
yeah.
I think it looks great. I
It's
think there's some
beautiful.
really cool stuff in there. It's dead slow. It is,
Yeah.
yeah. Though I do love that scene when Harrison
I know what
Ford
scene
does
you're
the
talking
dumb
about.
voice when he like is like trying to get in to talk to some replicant who's a dancer, I think, and he's doing a voice. And he's hello, my name is Eric, and like and also the one where he yells enhance.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking.
Enhance.
And he's like B-52 enhance. And
But yeah, that's the Blade Runner and Blade Runner 2049 are stunning. They're
Yeah.
beautiful films. But I would
Shout out Roger Deakins.
I would never guess that the same author that wrote this wrote that.
yeah.
Because it's not fun.
Yeah.
No, they leave out the goofiness. Like Total Recall has some of it, but even that's
That's
like I
not-
don't know.
Why leave out the goofiness? Because I think it just works and it makes it more approachable.
Yeah, like I saw I think Amazon's doing some
Mm-hmm.
series called like Electric Dreams of Philip K. Dick, and it's like adaptations of his short stories and stuff. But it looks so like sterile and modern, and it's just like no, give me like a weird like retro futurist look for this.
Yeah.
They should look like Star Trek, like OG
Yeah.
series. Like
The way that I was picturing their world, though, because of the flying taxis, I think is what really did it to me, is like this kind of Fifth Element type floating taxis, and everything has just like this orange filter over it in my head. Which fits in the 60s, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I liked the whimsy, but it was also like a pretty dark book.
yeah, no, yeah, the ending is bleak.
Yeah.
Well, I like the whimsy. I like the goofiness, but like, though I don't think that the bleakness and the goofiness overpower each other. I feel like there's a good happy
No,
medium
it
with them.
complements, yeah.
So when you get to the bleak ending of the book, it's just like it's not so gut wrenching.
Well, for me, I was just like, well, damn. All right.
Yeah, what if-
What a note.
What if
Yeah.
you met God and he was a weird alien who you could never understand?
Yeah.
And You
Yeah.
just kind of have to go with that.
Yeah.
And that's just it. Like, full stop. There's no explanation.
And
There's
it
no
made
further,
you
like,
so filthy on some level
Oh,
that
that
a
whole
martial
concept.
jackal needs
Yeah.
to
What
eat
was
of
you.
that
like
thing
purity
called?
and
A jackal.
Jackal. Yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
god, that part was like
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was cool. Yeah, when like a thing that's desperate for food won't even eat you because you're just filthy.
I
Yeah.
like when
Unclean.
he talks to Palmer after that, and he's like, he says like something about being unclean, and he bellows in all caps, "Who told you that?"
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
oh.
Yeah. The jackal. Because that's the creatures on Mars that you're supposed to watch out for.
Yeah.
These things that are supposed to just eat you and not care. Could you imagine?
No.
I like Anne's joke.
About the cat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll repeat it for our viewers and listeners. So is dinner party, and they're getting 5-pound steak ready, and they leave the room for a minute. The cat, and they come back. The steak's gone, and the cat is there, looking very well fed and proud of himself. And they say, "Well, let's weigh the cat and see if he ate it." And they weigh the cat, and he's 5 pounds exactly. So they say, "Well, there's the steak." But somebody else says, "If there's the steak, where's the cat?"
Yeah.
And she
Yeah.
uses this to explain, like, the dangers of ontology.
Yes.
And it sort of brings it in with, like, the whole communion thing again, and just like one thing can be a manifestation of another while not being that exact thing.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
liked
it's
it.
like-
It's
I
yeah.
loved her.
She was
By the way.
amazing.
Yeah.
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 She might be my favorite character.
Yeah,
like
easily.
Ronnie's mine.
Ronnie ruled.
Ronnie's my favorite character.
The only thing with Ronnie for me is like she kind of like was in the beginning and then doesn't really show up much in the second half of the book. But
She's making a killing at
Yeah.
PvP layout.
She's literally just she's getting her bag. Like
Yeah.
I love that
she's
for
gonna
her.
have Leo's job next. So.
Yeah.
Because Leo's gonna be. He's gonna lose his mind.
But I know that like I also really liked Sam Reagan.
Yeah, Mars being one big swinger colony, I thought is very
Yeah,
funny.
like that sounds awesome. But like I really liked how you know what I mean. Like, I don't mean like I don't mean like everything like that. But I'm just saying like.
No, you can only do it when you're Perky, Pat, and Walt.
Yeah,
okay?
and then it's okay because you can murder people in that world too because it's the Barbie world.
But they described her as like this like religious fanatic, and like they're debating on whether or not they should accept her into the colony and everything like that. But she's just so like, and maybe it was the way the narrator read her parts, but like he read her parts like so like she was just like calm about everything.
No, yeah, she's the
never
chillest
attacked,
and
yeah.
most thoughtful person
Exactly.
in the book by
She
a
is.
mile. Like,
Yeah.
Well, I love when Barney stumbles through that proposal to her.
Yeah.
And she's like, no.
She's like,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, there's a good Ursula Le Guin quote. She was a huge Philip K. Dick fan. They actually went to the same high
Interesting.
school, but they didn't know each other.
That's
Oh,
funny.
interesting.
And she was like, there are no heroes in Dick's work, but there are heroics, and they come in the form of the average, everyday person. And,
Yeah.
and
I like
And I
that.
can
yeah, and like Anne,
Anne
I
is
think
that,
is the
yeah.
perfect example of that,
Yeah.
of the quiet heroic.
Yeah.
Because we have Barney who thinks he's a martyr and is doing everything in his power to be one. And he's just being a whiny little baby.
Yeah.
He's like, these are your life choices that you chose. These are the consequences that you, as a precog, could see.
Yeah.
Just,
Life choices deal with the consequences.
I don't care that you're a whiny little baby.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
At some point, I was like, "Do you want me to call you a ambulance?"
Yeah. I'm trying to remember. It was like halfway through the book where he's like on his way to Mars, and I'm like, bud, come on.
Yeah.
I don't know, I like taking sci-fi stuff and putting just like a terrible schlub in the center of it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just really funny to me.
Because, like, if anybody else has read Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, Rick Deckard, very different from Harrison Ford's
Yeah.
portrayal.
I'm
He
sure.
He spends most of it really angry that he can only afford an electric sheep and not a real sheep, and feeling a deep shame about this and arguing with his wife.
That's so-
It's very funny. Because animals are like status symbols. If you can afford to
Yeah.
have a real animal, you've made it. But if
But
you
you
can't, you can get an imitation animal. But if anybody finds out, you are untouchable. You are persona non grata.
Oh my god.
Wow.
That's
And they don't pay him enough to hunt down slaves and murder them. So
Yeah.
What an evil man. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's a different book.
Well, that's our main character, and this one's a pretty evil man, too.
Yeah.
Barney's a schlub, but Leo's genuinely, like, an evil dude.
Yeah.
I
Genius.
like the one bit where he talks about how literally everybody in the world is trying to imitate him.
Yeah.
Except for Palmer. Palmer's
Yeah.
different, but no one else is on his level. It's just...
His ego's insane. Well, he shoots a shot with Ronnie, and she's like, no.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, how could she? I am his superior. I am incredible. I have all this money and influence. What do you mean, no? She's like, ew, no.
Yeah.
You're old.
He's a bubblehead.
Yeah, he's a bubblehead. But yeah, no, it's... Simona, do you have any thoughts, comments, questions?
Oh, I have questions, but this is
Throw them out.
Yeah.
Like what?
it's no. So I had a very hard time with this book, and I think it's also because it is hard sci-fi, and I genuinely don't really read a lot of sci-fi, but hard sci-fi in particular is just maybe a little too out there for my brain.
wouldn't say this is hard. Is usually when they're like working in actual science.
Oh, because maybe I assume because one of his other books, Andrew's Dream Electric Sheep, is classified as hard. At least
That's
according-
crazy. That's not hard at all.
Yeah, that's I don't know.
I guess like the reviewer that you had looked up online had classified his books in that way? Or?
No, it was just another article that was going over because I
The
was
different
curious
forms
how
of
many
sci-fi.
subgenres within sci-fi there are. And I was just curious. So like there's the hard, there's soft, there's medium hard, there's cosmic horror.
So it's like over medium sci-fi.
Yeah. There's like the space opera, sci-fi. So I think that's what the issue was. I think also some of his terminologies, because I know he coined a lot of his terms. He made things
so many
up.
abbreviations.
And like while I could sort of like muddle my way through what some of those abbreviations meant, I kind of felt like I was like, I don't know, maybe I needed to read a primer for his worlds or something like that, and maybe it would have been a little easier. And also, I had a hard time. It's very trippy, and I understand that one of the guys is on drugs, so that makes a whole lot of sense. I think the parts I enjoyed the most,
One of the
though,
guys.
Most of them
both.
were on drugs.
Most of them were on drugs.
Yeah.
Was the part in Mars. Like, I think when I was reading that, I kind of liked the story more.
Okay.
I also love when the wife character is talking to her husband, because he mentions how one of the women looks good, and she jabs, "Oh, so you have a thing now? Is she like a brunette, or it's the
Yeah, when Anne, that's when
Yeah.
Anne is there and she has the long brown hair.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I like it. And she's
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, you do, don't you?
yeah?" And then
Yeah.
basically he says, there's no need to whatever. It's just like the drugs. It's not real.
Yeah, I think that's Sam Reagan.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
probably.
like that part, the little back and forth. I did like Anne too, because I think it's also a depiction of someone who's religious who isn't crazy or insane in any way, which because I thought that's where he was gonna go with her character, because when she first meets him on like the space shuttle and they're talking about it and she's explaining her religious beliefs and what church she's a part of, and he's like, oh great, like he wants nothing to do with her. But she turns out probably being the least judgmental person in the colony.
Yeah.
So I appreciated that, because a lot of the times with people who are religious, they can be written in a certain way or only one way. So I liked it, because that's where I thought he was going, like, oh, it's this nut.
No.
Okay, let's ignore her.
Didn't have a conventional religion, but he
Yeah.
he was deep. He was very into it. He was
Yeah.
he had
Spiritual man.
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
So like he has a real respect for like the concept of God and
Yeah.
You could, at the end of the book, you get it.
yeah.
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 So I liked those parts. I did like Anne. I think she is a character that I could really admire. Also, I was thinking about it, like, I understand at that point he's on self-destruct mode, which is why he volunteers for this. But, like, the idea of going to, like, this desolate place where it's, I don't know, where you have to literally be drugged to survive it is sad in and of itself. As like, I don't see, even if I'm drugged, that's not going to be if that's appealing to me, I'm going to do it. So like, I felt bad for those who may have had no choice in coming there. But I was like, this is really bleak. And even the world itself, like, I forgot who I was talking to, like, when you think about how people imagined the future, and like 2016 came and went.
Yeah,
nothing like that.
Nothing really.
I am dying. I wish I could learn 200, 300 years into the future, if we're still around and haven't like self-destructed. When people read what we think now, the future, and they're like, that hasn't happened. I kind of want to see that.
Well, I do think the shots he called here were kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of nuts to be in 1964 and be like, yeah, global warming's going to happen.
Yeah.
And everybody's going to get really into Barbie.
Yeah. And also, is Walt like a...
He's Ken.
Yeah.
But also, I thought like Walt Disney, or maybe I'm just reading.
Could be.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually.
Yeah, but I just think it's funny how, like, people envision the future, like, what people thinking, and it's like, no, that hasn't happened, that's okay. But it's a very bleak thing. It's not a world I'd want to inhabit. Like, the whole idea that going out could kill you, so you have to be perpetually in, like, these frozen kind of environments.
I really
not
like
really appealing.
the fashion. He doesn't do it too much here, but in some of his other books, he's constantly throwing out the most insane outfits of all time. But here, there's, like, an offhanded remark about how the businessmen wear pith helmets, sleeveless shirts, and tiny red shorts.
Do really love that. We see a lot of Ronnie's outfits, and I did like the descriptions of her outfits, how everything, like I told you guys, there's always something weird or strange about her outfit, whether it's the fit, the color.
Yeah. Like a tight green sweater. Yeah, like...
Yeah.
But she's, like, wearing it with, like, a white skirt or something like that. It was,
It's
like...
just, something's always off about it.
But yeah.
Something's always off about it.
Yeah.
I liked her, too, how she knows what she wants, and she knows she's going to get it.
She's a go-getter.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's like, one day I'll be where you are.
A lot of mention of breasts, also.
Yeah.
breasts.
That's that 60s sci-fi mode.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Yeah. I did. Yeah. There are some not so great aspects of that, but...
I liked how one of the introductions where she's just doing exercises naked, and she's like, "So what's
That's
what's
Ronnie.
That's the
Ronnie
itinerary today?" And she's just, and I can picture that in my head, just doing these jumping jacks. And I'm like, well, she needs to stay fit. But but going to the fashion, it's so funny because like you see some what's on runways and whatever, and I'm like, oh God, I hope to God our future selves aren't like wearing those things. I was like, that's gonna be sad. So some of these, like, I hesitate to call it fashion, because it's not, but it's like you can just picture, like, I would really love to see what life is going to be like. I'm always so curious because obviously I won't be around.
You're gonna be so 2000 and late when I roll with my pith helmet. Okay.
And what is a pith helmet?
It's like what like explorers wear, like
Yeah.
old like movies about the jungle.
Oh.
Yeah, those are pith helmets.
Oh. That could
Do
be
you
a
picture
thing.
their outfits now?
So the pith helmet, like the
Hilarious.
Hawaiian shirts, the red shorts, I can see that becoming a thing.
Can you?
No, but it's I would.
I mean, the 2000s
Now I can
are
picture the
back.
helmet.
Like popcorn shirts are back in. You never know.
What are popcorn shirts?
Yeah, what's a
You grew up in the
popcorn
2000s. You don't know what a popcorn shirt is?
It doesn't mean I knew what things were called.
So remember those teeny tiny shirts that had all the bubbles? on
Yes.
it? And then you put it.
and you put it on and it fit. It expanded.
Oh,
Yeah.
those!
I didn't know that they were called popcorn shirts either.
Because those would have never looked good on me, so I would have never worn them. But I know what you're
They don't
talking
look good
about
on
now.
me either. I don't think they look good on anyone. They're popcorn shirts. Maybe
that's-
grandma's. Grandma's look cute in them, but.
Yeah.
What they were called. Oh, interesting. Okay.
But yeah, they're back in style.
Oh, God.
Yeah, precisely. Yeah. There's a lot from the 2000s that's back in style that I'm like, maybe you don't bring low-rise jeans back.
Oh,
Yeah, no, let's not.
God, I
You're
hope
like,
not.
damn it. No, they're back. They're back.
Oh, I remember when Pink used to wear them, and you would. I was like, oh.
People like damage their muscle tissue from wearing low-rise jeans too tight. Like, I don't want any more. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have all of these things to worry about, Lou. Like, what are you gonna do?
I don't know. Just wear the same jeans I've been wearing for the last 10 years.
But one thing I like just like on the formal construction of this is how it uses like different characters' perspectives to sort of establish early on like people are seeing the world in different ways.
Yeah.
And like it mirrors the whole like, you know, when things start getting trippy and like reality and fantasy are unclear. It's I don't know, I like that reflection.
I like
Yeah,
when
I
the
like that
creature that he first hallucinates in the grasp of the young
The
girl.
Gluck.
The Gluck.
It says it scuttles under his desk, and that's the first hint that he hasn't left.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
how he's just like, well, damn it, you got me.
Yeah, it's like he just scuttles his where'd it go? And
Leo's trip, it was so nightmarish.
Oh my
yeah.
god.
When
We were talking.
he strangles a child.
He does.
God.
And then when
turns Ronnie into a puddle.
Yeah, he makes Ronnie age 100 years, and she's decrepit, and she's like bones and rotting, and he's like, go back. But because she's already a puddle, it's just the puddle trying to animate itself.
Yeah.
Oh,
my
yeah.
god.
And then,
It's so
like,
visceral.
Yeah, I just like Palmer being like she was only meant to live 70 years.
that's why you don't do drugs.
She's
people.
already been dead for 30. Yeah.
That's why you don't
Oh
do
my God.
drugs. Say no.
Believe it or not, Philip K. Dick did not do psychedelics that much.
No?
Really?
He experimented
Interesting.
with them, but not much. He was on speed for all the 60s to write fast. And
Could say that.
yeah.
sense.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, I
Yeah,
mean,
well, that's
Yo, his middle name is Kindred?
Kindred? Philip Kindred.
That's awesome.
I like that.
I'm sorry. I was just really thrown off by that. I was like, whoa.
No, that's fine.
That's
I mean,
what-
because it's funny that you found that out, Joe, because you would think that with the to how far out this book is, one would assume that he did psychedelic drugs.
He didn't
Not-
need him.
He did
Well,
enough
well,
of them, but
yeah.
it wasn't
I
as
mean,
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not as much as one would
Yeah.
think, which is interesting.
He can create his own trips. He does not
Yeah.
need them.
No.
But I was telling Lou while I was doing research on the book and on him about when he brought his son to the doctor and was convinced that his child was sick, but all the doctors kept telling him he wasn't. But then turns out his son needed emergency surgery, and then after that, like, he like went even farther off the deep end.
Wow.
Like that's
Yeah, that would do it. Like,
Yeah.
So he wrote a couple non-sci-fi books.
yeah.
Yeah, only one of them was published in his lifetime, called Confessions of a Crap Artist, which is a great title.
Yeah.
I'm curious. I'm curious to read it at some point because I'm just like, I wonder what the style is like applied to just like
Normal?
50s suburbia. Like,
Yeah.
that must be kind of terrifying.
True.
Because, like, Lou, you kind of cracked this one open for me when you said you were envisioning Barney as a Don Draper.
Yeah.
He really does insane Don Draper stuff in
Oh,
this.
yeah.
Yeah, Don would go to Mars.
100%.
Oh, well,
yeah.
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 But yeah, so like that, I was like, damn, I wonder what that would be like, him just writing Mad Men, you know?
Yeah, right.
Like,
Yeah.
it would be like the Crash episode, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good.
Yeah, there's an episode on Mad Men where a mysterious doctor comes by and injects them all with a mystery drug, and everybody kind of goes nuts.
Oh my god.
No.
It's outstanding.
Okay.
It's one of the best episodes ever.
Do you learn what the mystery drug is?
I think we can assume it's speed.
Yeah, I think it's some kind of speed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Love that for them.
But we never find out for sure.
Yeah, the guy is named Dr. Robert after the Beatles.
Well, it's after you had compared him to Don Draper, I kept picturing, even though they would look nothing alike, Ronnie as like a Joan. And because I was obsessed with her when I was watching Mad Men.
Yeah.
And she gets her bag.
She does. Yeah, she definitely gets her back.
Yeah. Also, I want her to be Ronnie. Like, if they were to do this, yeah, 1000%, she is what I want. She's not afraid to cut you, but also she's gonna look great while she does it.
I saw somewhere that they're doing some adaptation. of it.
Yeah?
I think it was for Netflix, so we'll see how
Okay.
it pans out.
Yeah.
An adaptation of this?
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, I could see it. I mean, like, I don't know. I mean, I like weird things that don't make a lot of sense. Or like, I don't know. Like, it's nothing like it. I know I bring up The Leftovers a lot.
You do,
but just
actually.
like how weird the third season gets. Like, that's like the
I need
weirdness
to
of
watch
this.
this.
I kind of got like,
Honestly, I did get Leftovers vibes from
Right?
this,
Yeah.
especially toward the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, 'cause,
yeah,
like,
a lot about God and
Yeah,
you know,
even like
Yeah.
the slipping into a different world thing.
Yeah.
It's,
Well, it's-
oh,
yeah.
gosh, such a good show.
it really is like just an amazing show. That's just so bizarre.
That is one of my favorite things about it, is how choosy works, where you're not entirely certain what, like, because it promises reincarnation, but you're like living through your memories, but you can also be projected into the future as like a specter in both. But also Palmer Eldritch is there controlling it.
Yeah.
Crazy. Loved it.
Yeah.
So which one would you rather do, Choosy or Candy?
Candy ends.
Candy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Candy. Choosy is so scary. It doesn't end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never ends.
Yeah.
And even if it does, are you certain it does?
Right.
Hmm.
Are you sure? Are you in reality or are you in something else?
Because it's also formed from a living organism, right? The lichen is alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So gross.
So, I'm finding out Philip K. Dick wrote a children's novel.
Oh my god.
Interesting.
I'm so curious what this could possibly be like. Nick and the Glimmin.
I like it.
Nick, his family, and cat Horace leave Earth in 1992 because pet ownership has been criminalized. Okay, already off to a
A lot
good
about
start.
pets, huh?
Yeah. But overall, I did enjoy it. It's not, I wouldn't have grabbed it. Like, it's not my cup of tea. I don't usually read sci-fi, despite liking sci-fi shows and movies. But I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I actually enjoyed it too.
Yeah,
It was good.
I mean, I read some of his other stuff, so I kind of went in
Knowing.
I'd probably enjoy it. But
Yeah.
a thumbs up for me.
Yeah.
Shocker.
What are we rating it out of? What is the currency? Leathers?
It's truffle
Skins.
skins.
Truffle skins. That's
Yeah,
what
it's
it is.
the only thing that can't be replicated. I just like that they're pulling out like mushroom skins.
So how many truffle skins are you going to give this?
I would go 4 out of 5 truffle skins. Yeah. In another universe, maybe 5 out of 5 truffle skins.
One of
Depends how much juice you
45%
Yeah.
of futures.
I would also give this 4 out of 5 truffle skins. Where there were parts that I didn't understand and made my brain hurt. There were other parts of it that I did enjoy. So, yeah.
I'm giving it 3.5 truffle skins. Because it's not my like cup of tea, so I can't like love it. But I loved it for all of the reasons I could. And I did really love the world building. I loved Ronnie. I liked that we didn't have like a heroine or a hero, because that was a problem for me at first. There was no likable characters, and then I did like some of them. And we do have, I like that thought that the hero is like that everyday person
Yeah.
in his
Yeah.
books. I like that a lot. But I loved how the drugs worked. I loved that concept. That was like, I can't wrap my head around it completely, and I like that.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna pass on giving it a rating, because I don't feel like I can fairly rate it if I didn't really understand it. And I don't know, I just feel bad giving it a rating when I can't. Yeah, so I'm gonna pass on a rating for it.
Boo.
4.5 trouble skins out of 5. I had a banger time with this. I don't know, what can I say? I think he's funny.
He is funny.
Like the world building, I just want to build
Yeah.
on that. I like that, like, I like that it's sort of written as if you're just in the world.
Yeah.
Like, you get the little, like, it starts you off with, like, the relative normality of, like, okay, here's a guy, he's drunk, he doesn't know what happened last night, and, like, oh, he has a bad job, et cetera, and then it's just like, I don't know, it just builds
He has
on
his
that,
briefcase for
and
advice.
Yeah, I
it
love
keeps
that.
it keeps adding in like little like cracked mirror elements where you're like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
all right, and I don't know, I like that, like even toward the end, you're still kind of finding things out about this world that yeah.
Well, I like that when the world building isn't explicitly told to you. That is a problem I have in fantasy novels a lot, where we spend 150 pages on just like exposition. I don't want that.
Yeah.
And I like that you do just pick things up throughout the novel about the world. Like you have a good basis to go off of, but then you get all of those details throughout.
We send out a message to all the sci-fi and fantasy writers out there. Stop making your books 800 pages. It's scary. It's scary, and I'm scared to read them. Write a nice 200-300 page book. I'll pick it up.
Like even 500 pages is great, but like maybe not 200 pages of exposition, because that's how you lose so many readers, because they just put it down.
Yeah, I don't want to be exposed.
Okay, genuine question: how did people follow Game of Thrones before like the show? Because like I would die having to
No
like
idea.
not being
idea.
able to put faces to
Yeah.
these people. Like
Yeah. I have no
Yeah.
idea.
It made the book so much easier.
yeah, right. Like
Yeah.
I feel like I could definitely read it now, but
Yeah.
I
My mom
read the first
it
one
before she saw the show.
oh yeah, like it was
Yeah.
a hit. Like
And like
Yeah.
so she definitely saw the differences in characters, but I don't know how like she pictured characters. She loved the books.
I read the first one. It switches perspectives throughout the entire. I'm sure all of the books do that.
Yeah.
But there are too many chapters of people I don't care about in between people I do, and
Well,
I-
that's the only thing is the reason I think most people don't care about a lot of those characters is because they're not in the show.
Yeah.
But in
Well-
the books, they're all pretty.
Oh, I
important.
hate Catelyn Stark. I hate her with a burning passion. I hate her.
You hate Catelyn Stark?
Yeah,
But
and
then
there's
she
so
becomes,
I don't care. I don't like Bran either.
well, nobody likes
There's
Bran.
so many chapters that are him and Catelyn Stark.
oh,
and
I
like-
know some people who love Bran. so,
Really?
yeah.
Oh.
Eat your words.
Uh,
I got the real book readers on speed dial.
I had a hard time. I tried reading the first one. I gave up.
I read part of the first one because I'm terrible at finishing books. But no, like there wasn't too much exposition in it, honestly.
Yeah,
like
I did
like,
like that.
whoa, like this
Yeah.
must have been so hard to follow on release.
Yeah.
Like, because it's like I know who the Lannisters are, or whatever, in
Yeah,
1997
that's true, yeah.
when you're trying to keep this
Yeah.
straight, like.
Yeah.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's been a solid 10 years since I picked up that book, though. So
God, Dance with Dragons is 2011.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Here's your chance, Lou. What do you want to say to George R.R. Martin?
It's okay, Lou.
Nothing that no one else has already said. So.
But if you could, come on, Lou. It's your chance. He's gonna watch this.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
That's also fantasy, so it's fine.
Just do it, Nike.
Stop making us wait.
Yeah. Just write it, man.
But yeah, this was
Alright.
fun.
Yeah, all right. I'm glad. Thank you everyone for giving this a fair shake. I appreciate it. This was a fun discussion, and folks out there in TV land, we'll see you next week.